Hi you guys, this is Kiri with Healthfully Rooted Home, and today I am going to talk to you about my capsule grocery list system. This idea of a capsule grocery list is one that I got from her YouTube channel is called Old World Home. And I love the idea because I love the idea of having a capsule wardrobe where you just wear the same, 10 items all year or all season. And I thought it's the same thing with my grocery list. I am buying the same things on repeat every single week because I typically use the same ingredients every single week. When you cook from scratch, you basically just buy ingredients and you don't buy a lot of packaged, snacks or things like that. You're just buying ingredients. And so I loved the idea of having a capsule grocery list system where I just have all the things that I buy every single week in a list that just stays on my phone. And so I'm going to go through those lists because I have 4 different lists with you today. Kind of tallied up all the items on my list and I was like, wow, that's a lot for a capsule grocery list. But I included all of my pantry essentials, things like flour and vinegar and things like that. So this is truly a comprehensive list of pretty much everything that we buy on repeat. Of course, this isn't everything that we eat ever. We'll buy some special snacks, or I'll need to get a special ingredient for a fun, different meal that I'm making that I don't usually make. For example, tonight I'm making ramen, and there's a couple ingredients that I just don't have on hand. And so I had to get a couple extra things for that. But in general, these are all of my pantry, fridge, and freezer essentials. So I counted 87 items in total. So that may sound like a lot to you, but it really doesn't to me because it's literally everything. Okay, now I mentioned I have 4 different lists. So I have a bulk shopping list, and I bulk shop at 2 places, Costco or Azure Standard. I've been doing Costco a lot more lately because it's just been really hard to make the drop times with Azure Standard because you're pretty much on call all day, and I just don't have time for that right now. So it's pretty much been Costco for my bulk shopping. But then I have a separate list for Fred Meyer, which would be like, if you don't have a Fred Meyer, it's like an Aldi or Kroger, Walmart. And that is to get any of the things that I just have to get on like a weekly basis. Then I have an Amazon/online grocery list. This is anything that I've found that I can get for a better price online. And then the specialty store, where we get our milk, our raw milk and eggs and things like that. We either get that at a specialty store or a farm. One of the reasons why I love this system is because I can break it out into sections based on where I know these items are in the store. So for example, Costco, I have to go into the store, which I really don't like doing, but I have to actually go into the store and shop. So I am very methodical about how I do that. I have a system for how I map the store out, and it's the same on my list. So I know where they keep things, and I make that make sense in my list. So my bulk shopping list, I have organic no pulp OJ, which we use for our adrenal cocktails. And then I have cheddar cheese on here and Parmesan cheese. The cheddar cheese we get is the Kerrygold cheese. It's so good. So I'll get a block or 2 of that at Costco, but then I also get cheese you'll see later at either the farm or specialty store that we go to because it's raw and I do kind of prefer that. Organic cream, I would get raw cream. Costco doesn't have raw cream, and honestly, raw right now is just so insanely expensive. So I just do raw milk, and lately I've been getting pasteurized cream, but it's better to get pasteurized cream than pasteurized milk because the cream doesn't get as pasteurized in the process. Organic pastured eggs, have to get these on a weekly basis. Get 3 dozen eggs every week-ish, and we only go to Costco every 3 to 5 weeks. Okay, and then grass-fed butter. The Kirkland brand is really good. It's like the Kerrygold. I think it's the same percentage grass-fed too. I wanna say it's 95%, but don't quote me on that. Okay, and then in the frozen section, wild scallops, wild caught shrimp, mahi-mahi, wild cod, and then I just put organic frozen fruit and organic frozen vegetables. Whatever variety suits our fancy that week, well, that's what we'll get. And then fresh produce. So I specifically only put on this list the things that I know we can eat before they go bad. So on my list, I have organic carrots because we eat a carrot a day, butternut squash, gold potatoes, sweet potatoes, organic onions, grapes, beets, organic dates, apples, avocados, bananas, and oranges. So those are all the things that we can either eat or freeze before they go bad. And then meat. So we actually buy a quarter cow every year, and that lasts us the whole year. So that takes care of our beef. So I only at Costco get ground pork, and if they have whole chickens, sometimes I'll get whole chickens. Okay, pantry. Sprouted oats. So sprouted oats are something that we get because they're more easily digestible. If they don't have sprouted oats, we'll just get regular rolled oats, but I do then try and soak them before I make whatever it is that I'm making with them. Non-stick spray, they have the ghee non-stick spray, so we'll spray that on like the barbecue, or most cooking oils that I use are just plain butter or coconut oil when I cook like with cast iron, but sometimes I need a non-stick cooking spray, so I get the ghee. Honey, maple syrup, coconut water. This is something that we use for our adrenal cocktails as well. Coconut oil, I mentioned. Marinara sauce. So I never used to buy marinara sauce because I would just make it myself, but I've actually been loving the brand that I get at Costco. Really healthy ingredients, and it makes for the easiest dinner because I can just slap it on a sourdough pizza crust and throw some cheese on it and call it a dinner. And it's also nice just for making a quick pasta dish or something like that. But then I do have canned tomatoes and tomato paste on my list because you can throw that into anything like soups or something like that to make it better. And then the Kirkland organic salsa has amazing ingredients, and this flavor is so good. It's like this smoky, really good salsa flavor. Mangoes, we get those as just like a sweet treat. My husband and son absolutely love the Costco mangoes in the black bag specifically. There's no sugar added. Apple cider vinegar, cream of tartar, we put that in our adrenal cocktails. It's a really good source of potassium, so it helps to replenish electrolytes. Balsamic vinegar, vanilla extract, and then rice, quinoa, beans, wheat berries. Wheat berries I can't get at Costco, but I get those at Azure Standard. Raisins, sea salt, coconut aminos, rice vinegar, and sesame oil. So that is my whole bulk shopping list. Then Fred Meyer. So there's only about 20 things that I get at Fred Meyer that I don't get at Costco. So basically my Fred Meyer list is exactly my Costco list with the exception of those 20 items, because I basically just use my Fred Meyer trip to buy all the things that we have run out of before we do our next Costco run. And so I go to Fred Meyer, I would say at least once every 2 weeks, but sometimes I have to go weekly. Lunch meat and pepperoni, which I don't get that at Costco because they come in the huge packs and we just can't use it in time. And there have been a couple times where it just went bad before we could use it. And then I tried to freeze it and then it got gross. So I just don't even bother buying that at Costco anymore. So I get that at Fred Meyer. We don't use it a ton because we try not to use deli meat a ton, but we do use it sometimes if I want to make like a homemade sourdough bread deli sandwich, which are really good. We always buy for any deli meat and pepperoni the Applegate brand. That brand has the best ingredients. I have pesto on my list because sometimes I just don't want to make a homemade pesto. The only other things that are on here that aren't on my Costco list are a bunch of fresh produce things. So melon, tomatoes, zucchini, bell peppers, spinach, cilantro, lemons, limes, and spaghetti squash. And then pantry staples, the only thing that's not on the Costco list is spices. So I usually get my spices either online or at Fred Meyer. Einkorn flour, I can't get that at Costco. All-purpose flour and bread flour. Fig jam, which I'll use to spread on like a sourdough pizza crust with bacon and goat cheese, or some like crusty sourdough bread with salami, that's really good. Or I'll make my balsamic fig jam, and it's like a glaze, and then I'll just drizzle that over top something that I make. Brown sugar, chocolate chips, and blackstrap molasses. Those are all the things on my Fred Meyer list that aren't on my bulk shopping list. Okay, now my Amazon/online list, I have 10 items, and those are grass-fed and finished collagen powder, grass-finished gelatin, MCT oil, cacao powder, oysters, which come in this big, I'll link as much as I can below, by the way, like for the online stuff. The oysters come in this big, like, box, and coconut milk. Really good price for a big case of it, and there's no gums or emulsifiers. It's really clean ingredients. Vanilla bean paste, bee pollen, and then unrefined cane sugar. I get it's called like Just Panela or something, but basically it's unrefined. It's like the original raw sugar, because raw sugar, like sugar in the raw, is not actually raw sugar. This is like the real raw sugar. And then my specialty food / farm stuff. That list is pretty short. I just get like 4 extra things that I don't get anywhere else. Raw milk is the main one. I get 2 gallons per week. Since I'm pregnant, I am drinking that like it's going out of style. I'll get raw mozzarella, raw cheddar, cheese. I actually prefer to get it here because it's raw versus Costco, which isn't raw. Actually, I don't know if you know this, but all Parmesan cheese is raw. So the Parmesan I get from Costco is raw because it's just naturally raw, but the cheddar isn't, so I do prefer to get that here. Usually we get our eggs here on a weekly basis. And then I'll get any organ meat that we need. Whole chickens, this is where I'll get our whole chickens, and then cottage cheese and yogurt. Those are all the foods that we get on like a weekly basis. Now the system that I have is I have these notes on my phone. So let's take the Costco / Azure Standard list. I have broken out into sections, and then each item is like a checklist. And if I don't need the item that week, then I will check it off, right? As if I already have it, so I can check it off. If I do need the item that week, then I will keep it unchecked, and then as soon as I grab it, I can check it off. And so it's all the same items every week. I never delete an item off of here. I just check or uncheck. And that's it for each of these lists. So it makes it super easy. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this is helpful for you to maybe create your own capsule grocery list system, one that works for you. But if you have any questions, leave a comment below. Thanks so much for watching.